Hello, I'm Amber Uper, and this is a video about this nice little antique thing. This is an Alamo standalone reverb unit. Now there was a lot of companies that made these back in the 60s. This is like mid-1960s production. This is one of the early production ones, and you can tell by the way it's put together that it's early production. Now you would think this grill cloth, you'd think there'd be a speaker inside here or something, judging by the grill cloth, but it's just decorative. There's no speaker in this. It doesn't have an amplifier. This is just a standalone reverb unit. This would be what you'd use if you had a guitar amplifier that didn't have a reverb built into it. You'd plug your guitar into this, and then you plug this into your amplifier. So let's take a look at this thing here. This obviously the front. This is an early one, you can see, because the control thing is on the top of the unit, like the old 50s amplifiers were. And it says Alamo Electronics Corporation, San Antonio, Texas. So that's pretty interesting. And this is the Reverb Plus unit. There's not much to it. You plug your guitar in here, and from here it goes out to the amp. So let's turn it around here. I got the cord and the foot pedal out. So here's the back of it. Now this is probably the most unique foot pedal you're going to see on on a reverb unit. This is factory original. This is a wood with the switch sticking out here, and then I had to take it apart because the switch doesn't work. It's actually a flap of like naga hide or whatever to cover up the hole, and it was stapled on. You can see where the staples were, and I pulled them out. And there's your switch in there. It's just an on-off switch, but this one is broken. It's old, you know. This is mid-60s. It's, what is it, 60 years old now? Something like that? 50-some years. So, and this is wired right to it. It's not, there's no plug on there. This is wired directly to it. And this, good old 2-wire power plug, which they all had back in the 60s. So, this is an original plug, I do believe. So let's take the this back panel off, and we'll take a look and see what's in there. Okay. All right. So there's the back panel. Pretty simple. All right. So here's all your stuff. It's powered by 2 tubes, 12AX7, which is actually the take-up from the reverb tank and the output driver to send the signal to the amplifier. And then this tube here is a 6U8A. And this tube is the 12AX7 is a twin triode tube, and this tube is a triode pentode tube. And what that does is it takes the signal from your guitar, and the pentode side amplifies it, and then sends it to the triode side, and the triode side drives this tank directly. So let's take a look. Here's your power supply capacitor. I don't know how well you can see that because the light ain't great. And then, just various stuff in here. This is the reverb, how much reverb you want, and that's also the on-off switch, power switch. And then this is the mix between the direct signal and the reverb output signal. So let's take this reverb tank out of here. We'll take a look. I already had it out of here once, so it's a little easier to get out than it was the first time. I had to take it out just to see what it was. So this is your this is your reverb tank right here. And this one's mounted to a board, and then that just sits on the inside. And I don't want to take the board panel off, so I just happen to have another reverb tank here that I can show you what they look like. This is the old reverb tank out of the Ampeg Gemini that I'm working on. I wrote down what the replacement was because this one happens to be bad. But anyway, this is what they look like on the inside. It's just two long springs that connect to these two ends, and you have a little transformer on each end, and the signal goes in to one transformer, and that magnetically makes these little things move. These are mounted in here, and that just moves like that, and that transfers that signal across to the other side, and then the transformer over here picks up that signal and sends it back to the amplifier, and that's where your reverb is. It's just basically a spring delay. And it's a very simple thing. This was real common. It's still the more common reverb in in a guitar amplifier. Of course, the ones they have now, they're solid state. They're not tube driven, but it's the same principle. So that's what this is. Now I have to go through it and check the components and make sure everything's working so I can test it. I suspect the power supply capacitor is probably not that great because this is the original one, and since this is mid-60s, let's see, I'm going to check the code on the, now according to this, the code on the, on this control pot says that this is, the control is from 1963. So this could be like a 1964, end of 63, 64 production. Now this, like I said, this is the early model Alamo reverb. This is the first configuration where they had this control thing up here. What they did in their late 60s ones is they used the same basic box, but they configured it differently. And the unit would be like this with the controls right here. They would be out the front right here. And you can see pictures of them on the internet. And that's how they built the models after that, when they changed the design to basically to match other guitar amplifiers, and that once Fender and Ampeg and all those went to controls on the front of the unit instead of on the top like this, then Alamo followed suit with their reverb units. Of course, Alamo also made a line of guitar amplifiers as well as these, and they actually made guitars and bass guitars and that too. So I don't know that much about the history of them, so I don't know when they went out of business, but they were around for quite a few years. So that's my video for this Alamo. I will, once I get it inspected and get everything checked out and everything, then I'll give it a test, and I'll make another video with it so I can demonstrate what it sounds like. So there we are. Thanks for watching.